Sandra, welcome to another episode of Asexualise, my asexual life. This is the place to be for education about asexuality, all things asexual. I share my asexual life journey in order to help you in yours. If you haven't already subscribed, hit that great big subscribe button right here, right now. Please hit that bell icon so you get notified of every time I go live like now, post a new video. And don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you're enjoying the content, if you find it useful, helpful, insightful in any way, shape or form, or just want to give this channel some love. I really appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. So in today's video, we're going to be discussing Facebook dating. Sex is important in life. As an asexual who doesn't like sex, we'll be discussing that in a moment. But first of all, if you didn't know who I am Sandra, I'm the author of this awesome Asexual Perspectives, 47 asexual stories. That's real life asexual stories, and you can grab a copy of that using the link down below. I'm also the proud author of this fibromyalgia self-help handbook, which shows you how to have less pain, more energy and feel happier. So don't forget to check out the link for that below. So yes, Facebook dating. I'm still on Facebook dating. Not really getting anywhere with it because it's sexual after sexual after sexual after sexual after sexual after sexual guys on there, and it just gets so tiring. It's like, do you have to play the same record? Anyway, so this guy, I was on Facebook dating. He was talking to me a bit on there. He lives a couple of hours away from me. Then he decided that we could actually connect on Facebook. He doesn't have his friend open, so it was just a case of connecting. And then he's now messaged me, and he, after like not speaking to me for several days, and then he has said to me, sex is important in life. Because like I said, clearly you weren't interested in me because you don't talk to me. And the fact, yeah, he hasn't done that shows he's not interested in me, right? So I said that to him, and I said I deleted him off the dating app. And so he started talking to me, and he was on about my birth certificate age, which I don't hide on Facebook dating because I don't believe in being dishonest, but it's nothing like who I am, and I really don't care for it. But so he seemed to be fixated on this idea of birth certificate age. And so I'm like, that's fine, you're not my guy then. And then I said I live like a teenager, and then he was saying I want someone mature. So on one hand, he was on about my birth certificate age being older than he wanted it to be, and then he was on about not being mature. But just because I live like a teenager does not mean to say I'm not mature. And if mature means boring, then hey, I'd rather be a teenager forever and not mature. Oh dear, there you go. And he's like, oh, I'm mature, I'm not like a teenager. I'm thinking, you're not my guy then, aren't you? You're going to bore the hell out of me. But there you go. But actually, I do think probably the guy I end up with will be older for his age. Anyway, as the conversation was progressing, he said, but sex is important in life. And I want to discuss this with you because I really, really, truly, honestly believe that sex is not important in life for asexuals who are not interested in sex. I'm not interested in sex. Sex is not important in life unless you add importance to it, right? So for those people who like sex, who enjoy it, then yes, I guess sex is important. But for people like me who don't like sex, who don't enjoy it, who are not interested in it, sex is not important. If you want to have a baby the natural way, then yes, sex is important for that process. But that's it. As far as I'm concerned, it's just to produce babies if you want that, right? For me, I'm not interested in sex. I have no interest in it, no desire whatsoever. It doesn't do anything for me. It just is an irritation, and it's just not nice, you know? And so, you know, sex being important is a huge thing in society. People put sex on a huge pedestal. They think it's really necessary in relationships. They can't separate love from sex. They can't separate romance from sex either. Like this guy was going, I don't know how to be romantic. And I said, so you're not romantic? And he's going, well, I'm romantic. And it's like, yes, you know, and you know, the amount of guys on Facebook dating that are talking about, you know, they show pictures, they've got clothes on the majority of time, but showing their nether regions, you know, showing their bits off. And, you know, it's all geared towards around sex. It's like, I'm not interested in sex. If I wanted sex, I could get it with young, hot, foreign guys in my city who are young, very young, you know. When I say very young, obviously, you know, like I don't have sex with younger. My age is 21 upwards, and I wouldn't want to do kissing with anyone younger than that. I don't want to have sex, you know. But there are like 18-year-olds that fancy me. And it's like, no, offer me sex. It's like, no. I even for a relationship, I prefer 21 upwards, not less than that usually, you know. And so it's really important to understand that sex isn't important in life unless you add importance to it, unless it's a big deal and a big thing for you. For me, it's not important, but I understand the point of view that for sexuals who really love sex, it's important for them, because I love kissing and it's important for me to have kissing in relationships. So I do understand. Um, and it's very interesting because I've started back work on the Asexual Guide to Sex book now. It's very interesting because there are asexuals in the book that have had sex that are not having it anymore, and there's asexuals in the book that are still having sex. So it's very good to be able to explore the asexual spectrum and how different people within it have different attitudes, beliefs, thoughts, and feelings about sex. I've noticed even in forums and groups, a lot of asexuals are still interested in the topic of sex without actually wanting to do it themselves necessarily, right? So there's still a curiosity amongst asexuals about sex, I think. So, you know, sex is important to know about, I believe. It's important because the majority of people in the world are having it or want to have it or say they're having it, even if they're not. So I think it's important like that to know about it, to understand it, because obviously from a safety aspect it's really important that you understand people do have have to understand what's expected of you. If you get into a relationship with a sexual person, you have to understand, like, you know, if you want to try sex and you're asexual, you know, you have to understand the dynamics of how that works, your feelings, your emotions, your mindset, your body. You know, there's a lot of things. So it's important that if you are thinking about trying sex, then you make it important to find out in your life all about it and if it's right for you or not going forward. And that's why I'm doing the Asexual Guide to Sex book, because there are asexuals who do want to try having sex. And it's very important to have an informed choice and decision on that, to learn from asexuals who've been there and done it, different experiences. So you don't just get the ramped up version in the media of, oh, this is so good, it's going to be so wonderful and orgasmic, which personally I don't think it is, you know. So it's important in life only if you make it important, or if it's relevant to you, or if you know such as you want to try it, or if you've got people around you that are talking about it and it's affecting your life in some way, you know. So but sex isn't important if you don't want it, if you don't like it. And it shouldn't be like, you know, in Maslow's hierarchy of needs, I don't know if you've seen that, it puts like sex as one of the basic human needs. And this is something that's very disturbing sometimes to me, is the fact that, you know, sex, yeah, to procreate naturally, I agree, it's pretty much the only way you can do it naturally. So if children naturally it's what you want, then it would be important to you. But other than that, it's not actually important in a relationship unless you want it to be important. The fact that people make blanket statements about it being so important in life is very difficult. Hi, Thiola. Lots of love to you. Nice to see you. How are you doing? Lovely to see you. So really, you know, sex is important to those people who consider it's important, who like it, who enjoy it, who are interested in it. For asexuals, a lot of us aren't interested in sex. I look better. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I've still got some issues, but not as many. So I'm feeling a bit better because I'm working back on the Asexual Guide to Sex book, which is good. My washer dryer though broke a few hours ago, so that's why I'm late on this stream, because I've been busy trying to find a washer dryer suitable for me. And in a UK lockdown, when I'm recording this live in 2021, it's not that easy to find a decent price washing machine that's available, washer dryer that can be delivered, and the other one taken out. And I need a bigger drum as well, which is going to cost me more money. And I'm really diverting here. and I've been on sick pay, which is like less than £100 a week in the UK. And the washing machine I've been looking at is about 600. So yeah, it's not too great. I know men made me feel low in my womanhood, like I'm not enough. Yeah, washer dry is a problem. Yeah, Fiola, men made you feel low in womanhood, like you're not enough. Well, you are enough, Fiola, At the end of the day, they are not the right person for you if they've got an attitude, If they can't love and care about you for who you are, then they're not right for you, It's not a case of you're not in good enough. It's a case of they're not good enough for you. They want something from you that you're not interested in, that you don't want. And so they are not good enough for you. So whenever you get someone like that who's being kind of horrible in that way, just turn it around and think you're not good enough for me because you don't meet my standard, which is loving without sex. Asexuals are entitled as much. No, I mean, because they are dirty. What, the guys you talk to are being dirty? Don't talk to those type of guys. Just block them. They're disgusting, because they want all the perversion sex. Well, they're no good for you, are they? Then, Theola, if they're being like that with you, it's not nice for you. There's a lot of guys on Facebook dating who are like sex crazed. It's going to be hard to find someone who's asexual on there. To be honest, I know there's a couple of asexuals on there because I'm friends with a couple that are on there trying it out, but I'm not interested in sex, and so it's going to be hard to find anyone on Facebook dating. It's interesting to talk to different guys briefly to see whether there's any decent conversation or whether there's anyone who's not interested in sex. But it doesn't seem to matter what age they are; they're all interested in sex, and it's like, really, why? It's just disgusting. And it's very difficult. A lot of them don't talk to me on there. I did have about 8 people message me the other day, and I spoke to them briefly, but the majority of the time I just delete them. It's like easy come, easy go out the door. Because they aren't suitable. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, if they're not suitable, they're not suitable. So, I have to move on. Do you know what I mean? Because it's no good, is it? And the fact is they do hold sex very important in life, And if sex is really important in life, I mean, this guy said to me, oh, he's a virgin and he needs to have sex with mature women to try it out. Theola, I don't know why I'm hating it. I'm not interested in sex. Maybe I've changed because of my menopause. You're asexual though, aren't you, Theola? Or are you not? It disgusts me that all they think is so important. Well, you're asexual though, aren't you? So do you lack sexual attraction, or are you not interested in sex because your sex drive has changed, or have you never been interested in sex? Because I've had sex in the past, but I was never like interested in actually saying I want it because I never thought that way. I had it because I thought that's what I was meant to do in a relationship. I've never looked at a guy and think I want sex with you. It has never happened. Not with any of my exes, not even the guy I had sex with quite a bit, long term 8.5 year in total relationship. I just never looked at him and thought I want sex with you. He used to try and instigate. Sometimes I just wasn't interested. I just wanted to listen to music and prefer to do the washing up, and I absolutely hate washing up. So, but it is disgusting. They all think it's so important, It's really, 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 really just, like, because I haven't talked to heterosexuals that much in the last like 6 years, being on Facebook dating and dealing with them is very, very strange. I mean, it's like going backwards in time or something. It's like, do you know what I mean? It's like I don't actually like get involved with them anymore usually, and to talk to them again, it just seems weird. It seems like they're of another dimension or something, and they're quite alien, It just seems very, very bizarre, very, very bizarre. And so, yeah, I don't, I don't know if I'll ever find anyone for a relationship, but I'm quite happy on my own a lot of the time anyway, I've got a lot of stuff to do. I am really busy, so I don't exactly need someone. Um, Sorry, I feel rude. I like touch, but not sex. Oh yeah, well, I mean, some asexuals don't mind sex anyway, but it's whether you experience asexuality is the lack of sexual attraction, not the lack of action. So, although the full definition of asexuality it's a sexual orientation that's the lack of sexual attraction and or little to no interest in sexual activities. So, there could be some people that do experience infrequent sexual attraction or not enough to want to act on it, and which are the grey asexuals. And then there are obviously the asexuals that don't experience any sexual attraction whatsoever. So, but yeah, we've all got different things about what we like and what we don't like. But basically, asexuality is whether you're interested in whether we experience sexual attraction, so where you look at someone and think, I want sex with them. There are also sex repulsed heterosexuals, for example. So a heterosexual who's sex repulsed, they'll still get the urge, need, and want for sex, but they'll hate the actual act itself. It'll be kind of disgusting to them, but they still feel like they want it. So, but yeah, I know that you said you like touch, but not sex, which is fine, Like, we've all got our own things. I used to like some touching, but not sex. But I don't really like any touching on my body apart from my face and my neck and my shoulders. But I'm quite happy to lick, kiss, and suck a guy's chest. But I don't want him doing that to mine, so I'm quite happy to do it. But if he hasn't got chest hair, I can't stand chest hair. That's another thing. Guys love it when they're hairy, and I'm thinking it's disgusting. I don't want a chimpanzee or a gorilla or someone like that for a boyfriend or life partner. I really want a life partner. But when I look at you, he's coming soon. Oh, when you look at me, he's coming soon. Yeah. You don't like chest hair. Oh, bless you. Well, I don't think he's coming soon, Theola, but thank you. I think didn't you say that last year? It's still a year later, I think you said that. But I do appreciate your feeling. Do you know what I mean? Like, I have a soul mate, as in a soul friend who's Indian, younger Indian guy, who's interested in guys, but he is my online asexual Indian friend. I'm his best asexual friend, he said. And we message most days. So he's really, really lovely person. So we get on really well. He's 22 years old, but very, very, very adult for his age. And he's such a lovely soul. And he messaged me regularly, and we're really, really fantastic friends. And like you said, it's like a soul mate, as in non-romantic friendship bond. We have a really strong bond. So yeah, I'm very blessed to have him in my life. And he's lovely. So yeah, so I wasn't completely wrong about having a younger Indian soulmate, because he is my soulmate as in the friend type, but I haven't met my romantic asexual Indian soulmate yet. Yeah, oh Fiona, yeah, exactly. It's nice because me and him get on so well. We're both into guys, obviously, so I'm not suitable for him romantically because I'm female. Although he still thinks I'm pretty, even though I'm female, which is kind of nice. But yeah, he's very, very, very good guy, and we're very close online. So yeah, I'm blessed. But yeah, he's amazing. So that's really good. I've got him. But yeah, I've got good friends, and the fact is now, I'm going back to write the Asexual Guide to Sex book, which is gonna, obviously, as I don't think sex is important personally, and for me it hasn't featured in my life for years. For over 9 years I've not had sex. For the Asexual Guide to Sex book, which I'm writing, going to be writing my story now, my part of the book, I wrote a little bit before, but I decided to stop because I wanted to see what others wrote and then fill in any gaps that aren't in the rest of the book. Very important. So today I was watching a movie and I was thinking about what I need to write in my part of the book, one particular section. But it's really weird because I have to remember what sex felt like in order to do the book. It's like really, really crazy. It's like, oh my God, I've got to remember what the guy's bit felt like. I've got to remember what I did. I've got to remember all that type of thing. Fiola, I like that you have confidence. You don't let men affect what you think about you. Yeah, Fiola. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I don't care what guys think about me, you know? At the end of the day, yeah. I mean, it helps being at home, like, I'm not completely, well, I don't care what men think, right? In romantic terms, relationship terms, dating terms, I don't care, like, it's move on to the next one. And I would just keep doing that forever and a day if I need to, just move on to the next guy and the next guy and the next guy. Because I kind of think it's dating experience. I think I'm becoming quite an expert in online dating now, which is like quite a sought after skill, I think. So I think I might be writing a book in the future about online dating, whether that's for asexuals or I might do one for general sexuals as well. Because I think they need my help as well. Oh dear, because I want to do some short books as well. But the Asexual Guide to Sex Book is the most important thing to do in my life. It's the most amazing, incredible book I've ever written because it's just phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. I mean, I've been working on the book with the interviewees now for over a year and a half. There's one interviewee who's actually got some more to add to her story, and so we're just working on that as well at the moment. I've just started working on that with them. It's a little bit more, but it's very poignant. So I'm really excited. Like the majority of January, I'm going to be working on my Asexual Guide to Sex book now. And it's my love and passion, and it's something I really need to get finished. But it requires me going back into that mindset, thinking about what I did like. Well, I don't know if I can say like about sex at the time. There is one thing which is very weird, though, that's more to do with a feeling than the actual sex itself, because of closeness. But I guess I've got to do my, like, I didn't hate it back then, like I could do sex back then. I just didn't really like it. It's like I wasn't repulsed and I couldn't have it, but I was like, oh, I'd rather be doing other things, And well, with my last ex, like with one guy, just like, oh, I got so bored. I'm like, I can't be doing with this anymore. It's just too boring. But my last one, a term X, because he did a lot of touching and other stuff. Then, because I liked that at the time, then that's what made it better experience. Not because of the sex itself, but because of all the foreplay stuff. To be quite honest with you, because that's what I was interested in. And the kissing, his lips and his finger, that was it, basically. I'm like, can't I just stay on that? It's like, no, you've had your time, my time for intercourse now. I'm like, oh God, here we go. Yeah, but obviously, he was not good in lots of ways, but sexually he was really good with me. So yeah, I guess I'm gonna get used to talking more and more about sex openly when my Asexual Guide to Sex book comes out and I get loads of interviews about it. I'm gonna be able to to talk about sex all the time. I think I'm a sex expert who's asexual, which is very, very peculiar. But it seems like the more I think about it, the more I think about the stuff I'm going to be putting in the book. I'm like thinking, Sandra, you know a heck of a lot about sex, really, for an asexual person. Like, quite a lot of graphic detail. But it's going to help a lot of people. I really want people to understand asexuality better, and a lot of sexuals don't understand it because their their love language is more like sex language. Instead of speaking the language of love, it's more like their whole relationships are based around sex. So they're not really going to understand how asexuals work or don't work, or what we do and don't like, unless you express it in a way in which sexuals can understand it. So although the book's very much aimed at asexuals, I'm hoping there's going to be a lot of sexuals that will read the book and they'll be really having their whole eyes woken up to the reality of all the asexuals that are in the globe. And they'll be like, oh my God, they'll be like just amazed by the fact there are people out there that genuinely don't like sex. And it's like, it's going to be so much better to actually just explain it in the context they will understand. it's going to be much better. So yeah, but yeah, it's going to be great. I'm really looking forward to it. You know, there's a lot of people that are wanting to buy this book, despite the fact they're asexual. So I think it's really important. You know, so you know, although I don't think sex is an important part of life personally, I can understand there are people who are interested in sex that it's important too. And if you are going to think about doing that as an asexual person, it's really important that you consider all the aspects of it, especially from a safety point of view, but also emotional. You know, like if you're an asexual person who really doesn't like sex and then you push yourself to do it, it's like self-abuse in a way, and it becomes very, very hard and difficult because then you experience emotions of the sex itself and also the kind of agony of letting, you know, like hurting yourself indirectly, if you know what I mean. So I think it's really important when I write my part of the book to express all the stuff like that. Like for me, sex is a very, or was, because I don't have it anymore, very emotional thing. Very emotional. Like one of the most emotional things you can do in your life, in my opinion. But it's very interesting because that contrasts quite differently to some of the other asexuals in the book. So, you know, obviously with society being predominantly made up of sexuals, there is a lot more people who are focused on sex and whose life does really revolve around it. You know, for me personally, because I haven't had sex for 9 years, I don't miss it. I don't crave it. I'm not interested in it. It seems like the less I've time, you know, the more time that goes by, the less I do it, which is not at all for 9 years. The more I don't want it, the more I feel like it's really not for me. The more I feel repulsed by it, the more I feel like it's hard. But obviously, with the Asexual Guide to Sex book coming out, I'm going to be talking about sex probably a lot of times because I'm going to be doing lots of interviews, or that's what I plan to do. So then, oh, thanks for the thumbs up. Lots of love to you. So obviously, you know, because I want the book to be well known, you know, but it is really, the book is really the, yes, I know how you feel. Oh, thanks, Viola. Um, you know, I think it's important that, you know, I get the book out, and obviously people are going to talk about you know, they're going to want to talk to me about the Asexual Guide to Sex book and want to talk about my past sex life probably, but I'm so like scientific, or in the way I talk about it now. Well, not scientific, what's the word? Clinical, you know, like it's no big deal to me because I don't do it anymore. Eddie, my chest is like a lumberjack's. Oh my god. Oh. Ah. Oh dear. Well, that put me off, Eddie. That put me off my water. Yeah, I really not into chest hair. Really, really not into chest hair at all. You know, it's something that is you know, is really not suitable for me. Like I like a guy who's young looking and doesn't have chest hair. But sorry about my dryer, by the way. Yeah, you laughed at me. I posted on Facebook my washer dryer has packed up and it's locked down, and Eddie's like, ha ha ha. I'm like, well, that's very sensitive of you, isn't it, Eddie? I'm glad you're saying sorry about it now, because it's a bit like I could do without the expense at the moment when I'm still on sick pay. I'm still signed off sick by the doctor to the 15th of January. And obviously I have started to live stream more again this week, but I have had problems like with my health. So and I still had quite a lot of problems up till Wednesday with that. I laugh because it's a fun New Year thing, brand new year, and this happens. Yeah, I kind of was expecting it though for some time, and I, you know, with it being January, I know I'm diverting off to wash and dry here. With it being January, it's a better time. Oh, excuse me. Excuse me. I haven't long since eaten. It's a better time for the washer dry to get to pack up. I'm getting hiccups now because it's a January sale, obviously, so you can get more bargains. But I think there's less bargains around because there's less people available to actually sell washer dryers to you. So therefore, they're you know, they are kind of like still quite high price. The one I want a much bigger drums that's going to cost me like nearly double what I originally spent on my current washer dryer that's completely packed up. I had to stop it. It was really dangerous. It was rattling and then it all kind of came apart inside. So yeah. But yes, so I think it's good. Like, I'll get a new washer dryer. It should be good for a while, you know. Hopefully I'll get a better one. Just think, when one door closes, something better comes along, and that includes with appliances as well. That's why I like to think. You know, and I think everything does happen for a reason. I'm so glad we're in UK lockdown now, because it means I can focus more on my book and I have more time to heal as well. Oh, is the shops open? Are you not on lockdown, Sandra? Yes, I'm on lockdown. That's what I said. Thiola, because I'm on lockdown, I can get my book done now. So there's only essential shops open, and the shop I work at is closed. But I'm still on sick pay because I've been off sick. And we've only just gone into lockdown this week. Eddie, I was talking to my girlfriend on Discord. How long have you been with your girlfriend now, Eddie? 3 years, I think, isn't it? And my mum gets the message alert on my laptop in the other room, and she yells out, "Are you talking to my daughter?" Her mum adores her, by the way. Oh, that's so sweet. Oh, so your mum thinks of your girlfriend like a daughter. Oh, that's so lovely. That's really, really lovely. Oh, I think it's good. Like, people don't realise that if you have a relationship, you've got to try and get on with the in-laws. If your potential in-laws, so say you were to get married, that would mean they'd be like your parents. Like, so I'm never getting married, but if I got married, it'd be like, you know, like my mother and dad would be the guy's mother and father-in-law, right? And so like a mum and dad. But I've had relationships in the past where guys have had very strange relationships with their mother. Like, I had one very long relationship years ago, not the 8.5 year guy, but another guy when I was like 17 years old, which I don't really talk about this guy. And he was doing not very good stuff with his mother. Like, yeah, it was like kind of incest, really. And so it was disgusting. And so that's why I never want to get a guy who's like a mummy's boy ever again. You know, he was a real mummy's boy, but more than a mummy's boy. They were like disgusting stuff, like in the toilet together, naked. He used to tell me, you know, shower and toilet. It's just disgusting. So yes, incest really does happen, people, and disgusting stuff. Eddie, mum asks about her all the time, and if she thinks I'm upset, she asks if I had a fight with my girlfriend. Oh, bless you. That's nice. She asks about her all the time. Thiola, yes, mummy's boy, same here. Yeah, I don't want to be with a mummy's boy ever again. I think it's nice if a guy treats his mum with respect and cares about her, but I don't like guys who are like ruled by their mum and can't speak up for themselves and have a life of their own. And I certainly don't want a guy who's like incestual with his mother again. It's disgusting, you know. And you know, like, I met a guy on Facebook dating, actually, and he was a mummy's boy, I found out, and I'm like, well, I think you better ask your mum if you could actually possibly be in a relationship with me, because I don't think she's gonna like it, because I knew he was a mummy's boy. And so he went and asked her, and she's like, oh no, I want you to have kids, and there's the age thing too. Eddie had too many girlfriends in the past with daddy issues, and they all messed up. Oh, that's just ridiculous. Yeah, you know, like, I tell younger guys, Eddie, that I like younger guys, but I do not want to be a mother to them. I am not interested in mothering a guy whatsoever, you know. And some guys seem to think that you know, like, I want to mother them. It's like, no, I definitely don't. If you in a relationship, they would like be the older one, even if they're younger in birth certificate age, usually, because I like being the younger one. I certainly want them to cook, clean, wash up after themselves. I don't want to do that type of thing for them. You know, I'm not interested in that. And I, the guy's independent and can look after himself. Me as well, if he wants. I can look after myself, you know. And it's just like, it's just like horrible when they've got these type of issues going on, isn't it? You know, I'm glad you let me know about that. They got daddy issues, you know. It's just like I can't be doing with a guy like this guy. You know, literally was ruled by his mother. He's like, I can't ever leave the country because of my mother, and I can't be in a relation. I could never be in a relationship with you in the end because of my mother. He told me he didn't want kids. Then he's like, oh, I've spoke to my mum, but my mum wants me to have kids. It's like, why would you have children just because your mother wanted you to? If you said to me you don't want kids. And you know, it's like he's been underconfident, this particular guy, and I'm thinking I'm not surprised. You're underconfident because like you're a mummy's boy, and unless your mummy approves of things, you won't do it. And she looks like she won't let you alone. I mean, he picked her up from work, but he was saying to me like he was underconfident. It's only since he's doing his training in his passion that he's become more confident. I'm thinking, then that's why I said, you know, you've got to speak to your mum because I don't. Although you might like me, but the sounds of it, I don't think your mum would like you being with me. So he spoke to her, and she said no, basically. Yeah, you know, because of their mother. Exactly. It's like I'm not interested in people like that. You know, I need a guy, you know, because I want to be with a younger guy, I need a younger guy who's going to be very proud to be with an older girl and who's going to be able to deal with his mother with that, or have a mother that is okay with whatever age her son chooses to be with. Eddie, this is the only peaceful relationship I had. Oh, and I love her tons. And this week I was watching this show called The Watch, and I told my girlfriend this wolf girl's cute, and she said, oh, trying to get me jealous. And I said, oh, her. Oh, we both know you are the only one for me. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, you know, your girlfriend's more important than some person on TV, some show. Yeah. Yeah, I think your girlfriend is the only one for you, Eddie. She gets on well with you. I think she definitely is the only one for you. You know, your girlfriend sounds lovely, and she's a keeper for definite. You know, especially because you get on with her mum, even better, isn't it? She jokingly said it. I know. If I'm with a boyfriend though, I get very annoyed if they start talking about other women like that. If they talk about guys, I'm all right. I think I need to find a guy who's mostly into guys, but just likes women occasionally and really likes me more than anyone. Because I don't have a problem with a guy talking about guys. If a guy fancies shed loads of guys, I have no problem. But if I was in a relationship with a guy and he was attracted to women and started talking about other women, I would have a problem with it. It's really strange, isn't it, that? But I've noticed it's true in my life. So if I got a biromantic guy, but he was mostly into guys, but he like happened to like me more than any guys and any women, that would be ideal, because he could still tell me that he fancies this guy, that guy, and that guy, and I'll be like, oh yeah, he's hot, he's gorgeous, probably, or no, he's not my type, and still be fine with that. But if it was a woman, I'd be like, no, I'm not interested. I'm really not comfortable with this. Don't think you're for me. Do you know what I mean? I've noticed that. I've noticed that years ago. I mean, my ex, he had an affair with a bloke, and then he had an affair with a woman, and the woman was the final straw. I mean, the guy who he had an affair with, he said the guy took advantage of him, but I went round to this guy's house with him, and he didn't look like he was being taken advantage of to me. They were really close friends. I didn't know he had an affair with him at the time. So, you know, I don't necessarily know that he did take advantage. You know what I mean? So yeah. I don't know if that's true or not, but anyway, yeah. But I forgave him for the bloke, but the woman, I mean, she was having a kid, and then he was just lying to me all the time and everything for a long time. I found out about it later. So, and he moved in with me, and I had to move out because he'd had, you know, he was the one that was doing stuff with his mother as well. So it was all horrible. He's not and wasn't nice to me as well. He was somewhat abusive. Yeah. Anyway, very badly in some ways. So yeah, anyway, I don't really want to be discussing that, but yeah, I just think it's not good having mummy like, oh no, I'm so sorry that happened to you. Oh, thank you. Yeah. Um I try and forget all about that. But yeah. But I seem to have far more of a problem with guys being into women if I'm with them than guys. Because I really fancy guys myself, so it's like, but mostly foreign guys, like Indian, Bangladesh, Middle Eastern, French, Mexican, that type of thing. But yeah. So yeah, I don't really talk about that part of my life here, about the past, but yeah. Yes. But yeah, so I don't, I think it's much better if you're going for a relationship to be able to get a guy, if you're into guys, who's like not a mummy's boy. I mean, they are literally, they will be ruled by their mother. Whatever their mother says goes. The whole relationship will be led by their mother's wishes. And it's just like ridiculous. There's a very big difference between someone respecting their mother, getting on with their mother and liking their mother, to having their mother completely rule their life for them and tell them what they can and can't do. And so, yeah. What about men are full of themselves? I'm the big man. Yeah, I mean, I don't like men who are really egotistical as well, Theola. I know what you mean. Like, oh, I'm the big man. I don't like really masculine guys. Um, you see Moroccan men like that. Yeah, I mean, my top attractions for Indian, second Bangladesh, and third Middle Eastern, in that order. So that's what I prefer. But I think a lot of guys can be like, I'm the big man. I'm not interested. I'd rather have a guy with some feminine qualities, but he's got to be able to be really tough as well. So it's kind of, for me, getting a balance. So I like a guy to look like a guy, but I don't mind if he's got feminine eyelashes. But I like the boy next door type, and I like skinny guys, not hairy guys, not muscly guys, not bulky guys. I like skinny guys with no chest hair who look like a boy next door type, and who are cute and cuddly and kissable. And I don't know why they have big egos, the men. Yeah, guys have really big egos. It's kind of like, in some ways, masks their insecurity, because if they can't just be themselves without bigging themselves up all the time, it does mean they've got insecurity problems. They have big pride. Yeah, it's no need for it though, because it borders on narcissism. So they have to be very careful, because narcissist guy, for example, is someone who thinks that they're right all the time. No one's ever, like, everyone else is wrong, their opinion's right, they're right all the time. They're not empathetic. It's like, I'm so great, and yeah, bigging themselves up, and it's horrible. Those type of guys, narcissism is really bad. It's really bad in relationships. Then a nice guy should be humble. He should be like, I'm really grateful to be with this girl now, and a lot of them will insult as a joke, but it's actually not a joke. It's a sign of being narcissistic. If a guy puts you down, you shouldn't be doing that. They shouldn't be doing that with you. That's what I'm saying. And so you shouldn't be like pursuing that type of relationship. So if a guy like puts you down as a joke, it's actually not a joke. It's not funny. And they're doing that is not good. So you need to look for a guy who's kind, caring, humble, honest, approachable, knows how to treat someone well, will say sorry if he's in the wrong, or even if he's not necessarily in the wrong, but he's caring and you're upset and in pain, like, oh, I'm sorry you're feeling that way, like, tell me about it. You should be able to express yourself with a guy without living in fear. He should be showing up in your life regularly through the good times and the bad times, and he shouldn't be being this guy of like putting you down. Like, that is actually a sign of abuse and narcissism. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, you thought that. Yeah, so a narcissist is someone who is like bigging themselves up, never wrong, they're always right. They will joke about them being right all the time. They will put you down at your worst time. So if you're feeling upset about something, in pain, they'll put you down about that. They may do it disguised as a joke, but it's really narcissism. A lot of the time they say narcissists are like that since a kid, and they never really grow out of it a lot because they don't think anything's wrong with them. That's the problem. They don't see they've got a problem. They just think everyone else is the problem. And and you have to leave that type of guy. They're no good in the long term. In the short term, they might seem Mr. Charming, but they're not good, because what they do is they feed off people who are emotional, who are empathetic and sympathetic. They will try and target someone like that. So, for example, me, I'm a huge target for that type of person. I know that. So I've got to try and avoid these type of people, or I'm never going to be able to get rid of them out of life, coming at me in life, but I've got to go the other way, the opposite direction, because they literally try to kill your soul. Like, I was working in an old job, and there was a guy in an old job, and he didn't work directly in my department, but he worked in an an adjoining department. And he was narcissistic, and I was in the company for 5 years, and I wasn't my company he worked in. It was another company that I worked alongside where I was working. So he didn't work for my company. And for 4 years I put up with him. 4 out of 5 years I put up with him bullying me. And by the 4th year, I couldn't stand it any longer. It was horrible, because the only way you can deal with them usually is by becoming emotionless. So you've got to show them no emotion whatsoever. Now, you can do that temporarily. You can push yourself to do it. You can train yourself to do it, but it does eat away at your soul, because if you're a naturally emotional person, you're naturally empathetic and sympathetic, and you're bubbly and loud and talkative, those are the people they target, because they don't want them to be like them. They don't want them to be themselves. They want to put you down. They don't like emotional people. They can't relate to emotional people. They don't like emotions. Oh no, that means he did that to you. Yeah, so basically I had to learn how to deal with him, and the way I had to learn how to deal with this guy was basically showing him no emotions. And there's certain techniques you can do with narcissists. So if they're stood in front of you having a go at you, which they will do, I learned to do stuff like this. So you just put your hand behind your head like you're not bothered, and it distracts you from the hostility they're causing to you. And they will cause you hostility. They'll refuse to do things. They will blame you for things. And they will try and boss you around and make you feel small. And the trouble is the more you go on through life, the more training you have and expertise in this, the more you know there are a lot of narcissists in the world. And you begin to see all these narcissistic people, and you're like, oh, sugar, I didn't realize there was so many. And there's a lot of them out there, and it's sad, but it's true. Like, I did a course years ago, 2013, for 14 weeks. Professional course. I say professional, it was through the NHS, National Health Service in the UK, and it was to recognise, it's called pattern changing course. It was to recognise patterns of abuse, and they would list all the traits of an abuser. Now, a lot of these abusers were emotional abusers, not necessarily physical abusers. And emotional abuse is done over a long, long period of time, and they eat away at your soul, little by little, bit by bit. It's very subtle as well. Like I said, with the jokes, the belittling, the niggling, the getting at you, it will be very, very subtle in small ways to begin with, especially. And they try to make you doubt your own sanity by changing your perception of reality. And the trouble is that when you see these type of people, and you've had training like I have in it, immediately now warning bells go off with me. It's like a great big ambulance, and the lights are going round, and it's like I've really got to get out of being in contact with these type of people, or minimize as much as possible contact with this type of person. Because if you don't, they eat away at your soul, and it becomes very distressing, very stressful, very upsetting, very painful. And they like sap your soul away from yourself. And you don't even know who you are anymore. You can't connect to your soul. Fiola, yes, you're a smart girl now. Yeah, so but it's not always easy, because sometimes these people pop up in places where you can't help but having to deal with them. And trying to get away from these type of people can be very difficult sometimes. That's why, my ex was a narcissist, And I never want to be with that type of person in a relationship ever again. I will always be by myself than be with any type of guy like that. I don't want that type of guy. There's a lot of guys who manipulate and control out there. A lot of them do that. And so it's not good. So it's better to be single forever than ever be with a person like that. But yeah, when you zap your, like we've all got a soul inside us, and we've all got this like person within us that's us inside us. And when we are spiritually and emotionally connected to that soul, we can feel ourselves, we can hear ourselves talk, our real needs, our real wants, our real desires. But when we have narcissistic people, they pull you away from your own soul, so you can't hear yourself as much anymore. Thanks, Theola, you understand what I'm talking about. So, that they pull you away from your soul. And when you're disconnected from your soul, it's hard to understand what you want anymore. It's hard to understand your direction in life. It's hard to know what to do next. And then that in turn can create panic within the body, within the mind, within the soul, because you go into fight or flight mode. Like once you can spot a narcissist and you know they're a danger to you, which really they are a danger to your soul, then it's like you end up in fight or flight. Fiona, I feel like we are twins in the soul. Oh, that's nice. So it's very important that you understand this, but once you understand it and you've woken up to the reality of the situation and you're able to spot patterns of these people, you can tell there's a lot of them around, and you can tell when other people can't even tell. And then it becomes a case of stuff that other people don't know, and it's kind of like this hidden language. And it's great because you can recognize these people. If no one else can, they might think you're crazy or illogical or they don't understand you. And so that can be very painful, because if you can see things in other people that no one else can see, it's like you're speaking another language to the rest of the world. And if you top that off with asexuality, because I'm asexual as well, it's already like you're speaking another language. Theola, but I need to get more confident not to let men affect what they think of me. No, I mean, it doesn't matter what men think of you, Fiona. At the end of the day, they aren't right for you. The guys that are not right for you aren't right for you. They're not your guy. So it's no point in wasting time on these guys. There's tons of guys out there. There are some nice guys, but they're few and far between. So you've got to not waste your time on the wrong ones and search for those needles in the haystack, which means going through a lot of guys. The more the more I say to guys they're not right for me or that I'm not right for them, the more I get used to being rejected. And so it just becomes part of my everyday routine now. They really don't know me, who I am, and my worth. Exactly. They don't know who you are. They don't know who you are, and they don't, know your worth. And if they don't value your worth, they're not worth your value. Do you see what I mean? I'll repeat that. If guys do not know your worth and value, then you're not. They are not worth. They are not. If guys don't know your worth, then they're not worth your value. That's what I said. If guys don't know your worth, then they're not worth your value. Not worth your valuable time, not worth your valuable personality, not worth your valuable life. They're not worth it because they're not valuable themselves, because they're not valuing you. Right? So yes, it's very important, and the more we go on in life, the more, if we have this training and understand, the more we can spot these type of people. And so, of course, it's really difficult to find someone for a relationship, because not only have you got incompatibility issues a lot of the time with likes, interests, wants, needs, dislikes, and obviously the sex aspect, you've also got to bear in mind that there's a lot of people out there that aren't right in terms of they could potentially be abusive. Now, when I did this pattern changing course in 2013, their statistics there was 1 in 3 people are abusive. So, you know what I mean? It's like 1 in 3 people abusive. So 33% of the population, basically. or 33.33 reoccurring people are abusive, you know? So you've got to bear that in mind. Theola, because they look at sexual women, they put them higher, number 10, and me, type 1, we are number 1. Yeah, but that's because they want sex, but you don't want a guy who wants sex. I mean, what does that say about him if that's what he's interested in? Do you know what I mean? They value a woman by the amount of sex they can have with a woman. That's their standards. It's not yours. You know, I can if that's how they value women, let them go value some other women like that. Yeah, they want sex. I mean, the majority of guys do want sex in the world. It's a fact. But, you know, if we don't want sex, then we move on. Yeah, they value a woman for sex. Exactly. A lot of guys look at women and look at their body like a sex object. And it's disgusting. You know, it's really disgusting. And they value a woman by the amount of sex, also by the amount of cooking and cleaning a woman can do for them. Let's be right about it. I still get a lot of guys who I will say, I'm not cooking or cleaning for a guy. And of course, I know that's going to turn them off. Because lots of guys, they want marriage because they want a sex slave. they want and a woman who'll cook and clean and look after them like a mummy, basically, to them. That's what they actually want. They're like me because I'm fun to be with, bubbly and exciting. But actually, in a relationship, most of them don't want the type of person I am because I like living separately. I don't want sex. I don't want marriage. I don't want kids. And I like to live, like I said, separately. So they place value in the amount of washing up a woman can do for the guy, the amount of cleaning, the amount of cooking for him, the amount of endless amount of TV programs. They've got their woman sat by their side, being like a puppy dog. And, you know, the amount of, like, sexual favors that the woman does for the guy. I mean, that's how they value. Not all guys are like this, but a lot of them are. And if that's how they value a woman, go and get all the other women that are quite happy to do that out there. I'm not interested in that. Theola, but they're not good enough. Yes, exactly. It's like they're not good enough. Exactly, Fiona. They are not good enough. They are not good enough for your standards or my standards. It's okay to have standards. We're taught as well, really, we're not taught as kids. We're not taught to have standards. We're not. We're like taught like, oh, it's good if anyone likes us. That's what a lot of us are taught because a lot of us aren't taught to value our worth. A lot of us are taught like, oh, if someone's like in your life, you know, think yourself lucky. It's like, no, they're just as lucky to have me in their life. And if they're not right for me, they can move on. Yes, they want a slave. I was chatting to a Nigerian guy. Oh, Nigerian guys, I'm not saying all Nigerian guys are like this, but a lot of them are after money. So I wouldn't bother the majority of them. He wants to do everything for them. Submit, yeah. I'm not doing that for them. No, exactly. A lot of, not being funny, but a lot of Nigerian guys, if they're online, they're usually after money. I'm not saying all of them are like that, but online, the majority are well known and notorious for doing that. And some guys might not even be Nigerian and posing as Nigerian, and then other Nigerian guys pose as something else. Like, I'm not saying that all Nigerian guys are like that. There's probably some very decent guys out there that aren't like that. But you know, like, there's a lot of scammers. Yeah, yes, want money. Exactly. You just ignore them. I mean, I had someone I used to work in the same building as me, and they married a Nigerian guy, and their guy couldn't come into this country. And all he kept doing was asking her for money all the time. So they were married and she couldn't get a divorce from him. Most are traditional, yeah. I mean, a lot of traditions, in a lot of cultures, sex, marriage, kids, the woman looks after the house. That's still the same. A lot of Indian guys are like that, for example. That's what they expect. But the mother's also a very strong character and the head of the household as well. Like the wife is the mother and the head of household, and very strong, powerful woman as well. So with Indian guys, it's kind of like the woman's got a more stronger role, I think, in the culture. Like the woman's the head of the house, whatever the woman says goes. You know, it's very strong character in that way. But then a lot of the time in Indian culture, they expect their woman to have sex, to cook and clean for them, and do all that type of thing. I'm not interested in that. I'd rather live a life of freedom, excitement, and just being my teenager self than being a slave to that type of thing, you know? I've lived the traditional relationship type of life years ago. It's something I never want to do again. Like, bore the hell out of me. I'm not interested in just sitting there wasting my life away doing things I'm not interested in doing. Life is so precious. If a guy wants to do things that I consider boring, he should go back to his own place and do them and not waste my time. So, like, I used to love marriage, but I changed. I don't want to be slaves. I want to be my freedom. Yeah, I'm the same, Fiona, as you on that. I used to like the idea of marriage. I used to want to be married. Want to be married. I was engaged years ago. I had an engagement ring. That didn't work out. That was the first guy, the one who had affairs. Then the guy, well, he wasn't the first I'd ever been in a relationship with, but he was the first guy I'd been in a long-term relationship with. And then, you know, the 8.5 years guy, he got me an engagement ring, but never gave it to me. But I didn't want to marry him in the end anyway. Obviously, because he was abusive. But yeah, so I don't want that anymore, you know. You don't know what happened to you. Yeah, it's kind of weird though for me, Fiona, because it's like, yeah, my default sometimes is kind of marriage from the romantic point of view, but now I can't, you know, romantic wise, I'm like, oh yeah, marriage, the one guy forever, happily ever after. But, you know, if that relationship doesn't work out, you are tied into a contract with that person. People change. People change when they get married a lot of the time as well. They don't expect sex necessarily before marriage, but they expect it when they're in marriage, you know? I mean, a genuine asexual guy who's sex repulsed, probably no. But there are some guys who still don't want sex, and it's really for religious reasons. So you don't find out after you've married them that it was for religious reasons, and now they expect it and demand it. Thank you so much. I thought I was the bad one. Of course you're not. Of course you're not. You're not bad at all, Theola. You're right, you know? Don't think you're bad. Like, the whole dating coaching business, the whole dating business, I found shockingly is based on women thinking there's something wrong with them. The whole pretty much dating, the majority of the dating coaches coach women, because I found out through doing research, talking to different coaches, that they prefer to coach women than men because men have an ego and usually they don't want to change. And so therefore they will coach women and try to get them to change so that they can suit the bloke. So it's all about the woman changing. And because women are less confident, women think they've got the problem. This is how they make money, by convincing women they've got the problem and they've got the solution to solve your problem, which is changing yourself so you can be with the guy you want. It's completely messed up. Theola, I like soul to soul connection, not too attached to them. Love each other, soul attraction. I'm not changing. Good, Theola. I like a soul connection too, you know? And I was saying this in the entrepreneur dating group. I was saying to the women, you know, that the you know, shockingly, the dating industry is big money, and it's largely based on the fact that women have the problem and women have to change. And so because women are less confident, because they have less egotism, if you like, usually, they think there's something wrong with them. So you have to buy this product to fix you. Like, a lot of the whole advertising industry, especially, I mean, there are more adverts for men lately, but, you know, like, and grooming and stuff, but a lot of it's geared towards women having bigger boobs, you know, wearing makeup, wearing sexy lingerie. It's all about women improving themselves for men. It's like, what? Like, a guy should love you for who you are. If a guy doesn't love me for who I am, F off then, is what I say. Do you know what I mean? It's like, go away then. If you don't love me for who I am not being this artificial, fake person and watching everything I say. You know, there's lots of dating channels. It's like, oh, if this person says that, if this guy says this, say that. I mean, get your ex back. It's like, why would you want to get an ex back? He's an ex for a reason. Move on. You know, even by you wanting to get an ex back, right, unless you did something really nasty and horrible to them yourself, then, you know, like, why would you want that? They're your ex for a reason. Move on, move on, move on. Do you know what I mean? It's really important. And it's like, so there's quite a lot of people that can't even let go of their ex. And it's like, you're never going to be able to have a proper relationship in the future if you're hankering after your ex. I mean, some of the guys I've met on Facebook dating, they're still considering getting back with their ex. It's like, are you crazy? Do you know what I mean? It's like, how can I be even contemplating you as a person to date if you're actually hankering after your ex still, your ex is still on the scene. It's ridiculous. I know they want you to look that way, wear high heels, lots of makeup. It wasn't me. Oh, I don't wear high heels. I don't wear makeup. And, and I look gorgeous as it is. That's what I think. I look naturally beautiful. And if a guy doesn't think I look naturally beautiful, then that's fine. It's his opinion. He can move on, can't he? To a woman who's got fake stuff plastered all over her face, including orange makeup that will nicely smear all over his face and his shirt. Good luck with that. it's like I cannot be this type of person that watches everything they say like that. It's like, a guy's got to love me for who I am. Yes, obviously I've got to be consciously aware of myself. I've got to take him into consideration. I've got to think about what I say as in being kind and sensitive on the way I phrase things, as in, like self-improvement. I do think you've got to improve yourself in the way you speak and communicate. I think that's very important. But I'm not watching every type of little sentence I say to the guy. And if your guy doesn't want me for who I am, move on, innit? My ex wanted me to wear high heels, makeup, and more simple. I like classy, elegant. I'm more simple. I like classic, elegant. Yes, you're very pretty and attractive. Oh, thanks, Fiona. I appreciate that. Yeah. So, wear high heels. Oh my God. Yeah, I mean, you should never change for a bloke and be what he wants you to be, I mean, I might be single forever, and if I am, that's okay. I might actually be happier being single forever. I mean, I do sometimes feel tied down if I'm in a relationship. Like, I feel like, is this it now? Like, do you know what I mean? It's like, I do like going out clubbing when I can go clubbing and kissing hot, younger, foreign guys. And if I'm not in a relationship, it means I can kiss whatever guys I want and I can dance with whatever guys I want without feeling guilty about it or bad about it. I do still think if I met the right Indian guy, things would be different. But, unless that happens, then I can't see me settling down. And I do really love my single life. Viola, so they put me down. Whatever I do, I'm still not beautiful to them. But that's because they're not the right person for you, Viola. It's all about, I've noticed when you're talking, you're always talking about what they think of you and what they do. It's not, you need to make a relationship about whether the guy's right for you or not, whether you think they're good looking or not, whether you think they're kind and caring enough or not. These guys are idiots. They're not the right guys for you to be with. I know now it's because they want sex. Yeah. A lot of it is because they want sex. That's all they're driven by, a lot of them. They're driven by their dicks, to be quite frank with you. And that's what motivates them in life, and that like on Facebook dating, like they're all over the place. The reason I've stayed on there is because I'm thinking, there are thousands of people on Facebook. And, there's bound to be a few asexuals that do go on there because they like get desperate sometimes thinking, oh God, can I actually find anyone in life? And so they probably will give that a go. And, and I get a bit fed up of seeing the same people on asexual dating sites that I'm really not even attracted to asexually. It's kind of like, let's chat to some guys. But now, it's because they want sex and they're trying to manipulate you into giving what you want. It's like sex, money. A lot of people, you've got to be very careful online. Like, you shouldn't have just, in my opinion, an online only relationship. You should be meeting people as soon as possible. But obviously, with the situation globally at the moment, you can't just go and meet someone. So it's you've got to think about what you want in life and what's best for you, But I do sometimes think I might be better just single because I'm very independent, but it's because I'm hugely romantic. Like, really romantic, and that's kind of like difficult when I'm so romantic. It's like, I just want to kiss. But I do prefer kissing inside of one relationship than kissing multiple guys. I still prefer kissing one guy overall, Like, if I found the right guy for me, it'd be great. But I like dancing and I don't want to ever give that up, even though I can't do that at the moment. I still don't want to give that up in the long term. So I have to see what happens with that. But yeah. Actually, when I do writing, like when I write my books, I feel like I don't need a bloke because it's like the book is my boyfriend. I'm married to my books. It's much better. So when I write, I feel like I really don't need a guy. I'm so happy just writing. I'm loving writing. I feel so good. You know what I mean? And that's like, the thing about guys doesn't really enter my head apart from I don't need one. So I think if I do more writing, I'm gonna feel better about myself and better about life. Yeah. So, but yes, it's really, like sex, unfortunately, is a big deal in lots of people's lives. A lot of people's lives revolve around it. I think it's a cause of a lot of upset and pain in relationships. People have affairs, people mismatch of sexual needs, leads to upset and pain. People get emotionally hooked on each other, fall in love, and then they're sexually incompatible. People have fantasies and fetishes and whatever they don't even reveal to their partner and they keep secret, the fear of losing them. But if they told them up front what they are in the first place, they could probably find a more compatible person. Yeah, haha, yeah, writing is your boyfriend. Yeah, writing is much better for me. I love writing. Like, to be going back to write January, I'm just really focusing mostly on my book. I've got other stuff to do as well, but I'm gonna, do that around it. But unfortunately, I wanted to do some writing the last like 24 hours, but unfortunately the kind of washer dryer thing took over. And so I've got to get that sorted tomorrow and set that up and pay for that. I'll probably have to go to the bank and transfer some money over just to pay for it because I'm still on statutory sick pay. Don't have that, the money in my bank really for all that. But yes, so it's very, very interesting. But yeah. So yeah, it's disappointing sometimes that there are so many people geared towards sex. I think it's difficult if you're asexual and you're a romantic person, you really desire kissing and cuddling. I think it's so sad that people don't want more of like an unconventional life. Like, I find it really difficult to get a partner as well because I'm very unconventional. Like, I don't want to be going to bed at 10 o'clock at night. It's not who I am. Like 2, 3, 4 in the morning, that's who I am. Obviously, when I'm working, it's harder to do that, which is a pain. It's harder to go to bed later. Like, even though when I was working though, it was still like, because obviously I'm on lockdown at the moment in the UK. And I've been off sick before that. So even when I was working, it was still like about 2 o'clock when I went to sleep because I just can't go to sleep too early. It's not me. It doesn't feel good to me. It doesn't feel right. Yeah. So, but I think things are a lot more important in life and relationships than sex. And I think relationships should always start with the foundation of friendship, no matter what type of relationship it is, whether it's sexual in nature or not. As an asexual person who's sex repulsed, not for me. But if you don't have a solid foundation of friendship, how can you grow together? How can you love each other implicitly? How can you understand each other? I mean, I find it really difficult to spiritually connect with sexual guys. Like, asexual guys are different, but the majority of sexual guys, I find it very difficult because I think that they don't open up enough because it is very much about sex. They're not opening up to you on a friendship level a lot of the time. They're not opening up their secrets, their heart, their desires. They're kind of keeping all that to themselves because, they can't open themselves up because really they're hiding behind a wall of sex. And it's like, if sex isn't on the table, you can't really know or understand them. But even if sex is on the table, a lot of the time with sexuals I've found in the past, a lot of them, just sex is the most important thing to them. And it kind of like hampers that connection. I think probably because I'm not interested in sex. You understand, Theola, what I'm saying? Yeah, because I'm not interested in sex, it kind of blocks any spiritual connection with a sexual guy. Because it's like I can't spiritually connect because it's like sex is in the way. It's like your genitalia is in the way, mate. To me, spirituality and the spiritual connection is like kind of like right down here, but not needing the genitals. It's kind of like right down here to the heart and the essence of your being. Do you know what I mean? And it's like I'm able to see inside the person's mind, inside the person's heart. That to me is like a soul connection. I don't need the genitalia involved. That just happens to be there. You understand, Theola? Yeah. So for me, it's really important that I do find my soulmate. I do believe he is Indian asexual, to be perfectly honest. I cannot see how I'd ever work in a relationship long term with a sexual person. I can't see it because I really don't like sex and I don't want that again ever in my life. And the more I think about it, the more I don't want it. You're like that too, are you, Theola? Oh, bless you. And I find it so difficult. When I look back at my past relationships with sexuals, I find it really difficult. Hi, Sandra. Sex isn't needed as much as sexual say it is. Nice to see you, Liam. Lots of love. Yeah, I don't think it's needed. I mean, personally, it's not needed at all with me, but it's just like, to me, I understand people who want to have babies naturally need to have sex for natural procreation, but you know what I mean? It's just like, that's it, really. Viola, yes, no, I feel him in my room. I feel his presence. Ah, when you say feel him in your room, is that your soulmate, Viola, that you feel in your room? But I don't know who he is. Ah, is that your soulmate you're talking about, Viola? Is that who you're talking about? Yeah. Like, I have a soulmate. I honestly believe I have a younger soulmate who's Indian, romantic guy. But maybe I'll find him in this life, maybe I won't, who knows. But at the end of the day, I'm still loving life. Yes, your soulmate. Oh, bless you. Yeah, I mean, I think often we know soulmates from past lives. Yeah, I feel him inside of me. Oh, bless you. Yeah, I think with soulmates, you know them from past life, but it's whether they're gonna show up in this one or not in it, really. And I think because I like young guys, probably I passed through to this life quicker than the other guy, than the guy did from my past life, if you know what I mean. I came out here quicker, and he probably had some sort of life after me in the other world before this one, before this life, I think, Um, but I think every kind of like life is a learning curve, isn't it? And I think, with me personally, it's like doing this channel is one of the most life changing things I've ever done in my life. They're coming to us, Sandra. Yeah. I just think, like there's got to be a reason why they're not here yet. It's probably because I need to get a lot of stuff still done in my life. Like this year, like I can't wait to get the Asexual Guide to Sex book out. I'm so excited for it. I've just got another person today, well, yesterday now, who said they want to get the book. I had a person the day before who wants to get the book, both asexual. So it's kind of like, wow, excuse me, So yeah, I'm really excited. Like it's gonna be weird, like because I've got to write about sex again for the book. I've got to remember what it felt like. Remember what it looks like to see a guy's bit and all that type of stuff. But I'm sure I can do it, and it's going to be quite interesting because I've got to remember what I didn't mind about it, what was okay about it, what was what made it a good experience for me overall. But I'd rather have done a million other things. Um, but yeah, so I just think, like you've got to in life and dating relationships, whatever it is, you've got to go for your dreams and you've got to like just pass on those people that are not right for you. You're gonna have a lot of people, a lot of guys that are into sex, it's just a fact the majority are into sex, And it's very difficult to get an asexual person who's, who's right. I mean, majority of the time, there's more female asexuals than males, and I'm not interested in females. Like, I'm in a new group for asexuals, and it's a dating group for asexuals who don't want sex. And there's people in there posting about looking for a relationship, and the majority are women. I've seen about 2 blokes in there, and the rest of them are women. And I'm not even interested in women. Fiola, I don't know why I'm feeling incomplete. He needs to come soon. Mm, well, I found out spiritually it's when we are complete that we're more by ourselves, that we're more likely to find the right person. So I do get upset sometimes because I do believe I have an Indian soulmate I haven't met yet romantically, and it does upset me sometimes. But I have to remember that we have to be complete and whole in and of ourselves and able to function as a single being in our own right and live our life to the max and not need a guy before he can come into it. I mean, I don't actually need a guy. I'm quite self-sufficient, very self-sufficient, too self-sufficient. Sometimes I think, no, I'm really self-sufficient. I can look after myself really well. Yes, you do. Thank you, Thiola. So, I don't actually need a guy. And you've got to be very careful because when there's guys talking to you and you don't want sex, They will say whatever they can to just get with you. They will make up stuff like they're not interested in sex either, but they are, the majority of them, you know? It's just ridiculous. And they'll make you feel like they'll make you feel like if you're on your own, you're never going to get anyone because only they could be with you without sex, because of course everyone needs sex. So you're damn lucky if they could be with you without sex. And do not accept these type of guys in your life. You can find someone without sex, and if you can't, you're better off on your own. The amount of guys that go, oh, I'll be your boyfriend, like, because I've got no options. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I'm not interested in just you being my boyfriend for the sake of you being my boyfriend, because I don't need a boyfriend. It would be nice to have the right partner, but not a need. Do you know what I mean? Like, I could only see a guy if he was living near me probably twice a week. Not now, obviously, we're in lockdown, but, like twice a week, 3 times at the most, because I'm too busy. I've got too many goals, ambitions, and dreams I want to fulfill. I can't be with a guy all the time because I wouldn't get my own life done and things I need to do. And it would make me very agitated. Like, if I can't get everything done that I need to do, it makes me agitated. Like, the fact I've got a washer dryer that I've got to sort out is a bit agitating, because it's like, well, I didn't really need that right now because we're in the middle of a lockdown and it's a huge expense for me. And it's like, getting that at the moment, it's like distracting me from the other stuff I've got to do, but it's got to be done. And I knew it was on the cards coming. Liam, I hope you'll meet your romantic partner, Sandra, a good and beautiful person. He would be a lucky person. Oh, thank you, Liam. Lots of love to you. It's very nice of you to say. I really appreciate it. Yeah. I mean, at the moment, like, I really just want to focus on my book anyway. At the moment, I'm still on Facebook dating, but I am getting less guys on there messaging me. I mean, Facebook dating is just a nightmare. I mean, I have put, I'm not interested in sex, and still these people come up. Like, have I got anyone there? Like, oh yeah, I told this guy, I personally don't do casual relationships. And there was another guy that matched with me, and he's like, something about, oh, let's start something and make it big. What do you think? So I sent him a message saying, I'm not interested in sex. And it looks like he's deleted the conversation straight away, but like, I think, like, Liam's right though, like, we've got to think that they're looking to have us, these people, and I think being able to love someone without sex is really, really amazing, If you can love someone without sex, I mean, isn't that incredible? It's a special gift. That's what I think, because when the majority of the population rule their whole life around sex and the amount of sex they have, and they've got to have it and they can't live without it, just imagine, you're not controlled by genitalia. The majority of the world population is controlled by their genitalia. There's a lot of conspiracy theories about mind manipulation and what's happening, but people forget one of the biggest manipulating things in the whole world is genitalia, hormones, and sex. People are ruled by sex. It's like brainwashed. And people are brainwashing people in the media, advertisers. It's all brainwashing. From a young age, most people are led to believe you have to have sex in order to have a loving, healthy, happy relationship. It's just brainwashing by the majority of the people, or by the advertisers, because if you don't need sex, you don't need their products a lot of the time. You don't need makeup to make yourself look sexy. You don't need lingerie to make yourself look sexy. You don't need to get your hair dyed to look sexy. You don't need to lose weight to look sexy. Like, there's a woman who I'm connected on Facebook lately, and she's got a picture, a before and after picture. I'm thinking the women look better in their figure with a little bit of weight on, which they don't even look big. They look quite thin to me, than the skinny ribby person they like to transform them into. They just look horrible. All they look is like skin and bones. It's like, please put some weight on, not take it off. It looks unnatural, and so it's just like the whole world is geared towards having sex. When you're a kid, you're meant to believe sex is the thing you need, and when you go to school and everything, and it's all geared towards reproduction, and all geared towards mind manipulation of people thinking that sex is the be all and end all. And in order to keep, obviously, the human species alive, a lot of the time procreation's needed, but obviously there are other ways besides natural means these days of doing that. But a lot of it's just, like I said, brainwashing by the majority of the people that happen to be sexually driven. And the advertisers need you to want sex in order to promote their products to you. Liam, you are sexy the way you are. Don't ever need to change. Oh, thank you, Liam. That's so sweet. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Yeah. I mean, I do, like, I don't wear makeup, as you notice, like, hardly ever. Like, sometimes when I go out clubbing, I do, but in the majority of days, out of the 365 days a year, I don't wear makeup. I don't think I need to wear it. I mean, it really wrecks your skin, usually, if you wear makeup. And I don't need it. And usually on Facebook, when I post pictures of me wearing makeup or me not wearing makeup, I always end up usually getting more likes on my photographs that don't have makeup. I'm not wearing makeup in them. Yeah, Liam is sweet. They're very sweet. So yeah, I think, like, you don't need makeup to be beautiful. You don't need to be really skinny to be beautiful. You don't need to be skinny to be sexy or hot. You don't need to like sex to be sexy and hot. Some people think, oh, well, like, I'm sexy and I'm hot. Yeah, but I don't like sex. Just because I'm sexy and hot doesn't mean to say I want sex. You don't need it. You are naturally beautiful. Oh, thank you, Viola. Lots of love to you. You don't wear makeup. It's good. It's good. I don't think people need to wear makeup. I think the people that wear makeup age much, much faster. Like, some of the women, it's like, oh my God, you look like 20 years older than you're meant to be. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think it's much better not to wear makeup. It's not good for your pores. It causes problems, skin problems and that. And, it's just generally not very good, I don't think. I wear a little bit because I like a little bit of glitter now and again. Like, I do like glitter stuff. So if I wear eyeshadow, I usually like glitter eyeshadow. It's quite difficult to come by and it doesn't usually stay on very long either. I liked a powdered eyeshadow I had, which was blue with a little bit of silver glitter, but the gel stuff with glitter in it, most of that comes off when I'm dancing. I get so hot that it just comes off my eyelids. It's like, what's the point in even putting it on? But because I'm a glitter girl, I do like glittery things. It's kind of like, if I'm going to wear makeup, I'd rather have a bit of glitter in there. Do you know what I mean? Because I just think it's nicer with glitter because it's just like sparkly and I like the sparkly things. But like, my eyelids, they start to hurt and peel if I get too much makeup on them anyway. But yeah, so I think it's much better, to not wear makeup. Like, I'm not interested in sex. So I don't need to preen myself up. I mean, there was a guy on Facebook dating the other day and he goes, oh, even if you don't like sex, you've got to admit you are damn attractive. And it's like, well, yeah, I am damn attractive, but I still don't want sex. Do you know what I mean? Like, people have such a stereotype that of what sexy looks like, and if you're sexy about wanting sex. Like, I know, like, I've known some guys who look like dorky guys, nerdy guys, and yet they're the ones that really want hot, steamy sex. People shouldn't judge a book by its cover because it's very deceiving. You can have sweet, innocent boy next door type of guys, and even some of them are very, very into sexual stuff. It's like the guy that was talking to me earlier tonight. Like, he's in his early 20s, looks like the boy next door type, looks like he's not a sexual guy. Then he's saying, oh, well, that's who said sex is important in life. And I'm a virgin and I've got to have sex with a mature woman to try it out. I'm like, and because I told him I'm not interested in sex, I also told him I live like a teenager. He goes, oh, you're not right for me. I need sex and I need a mature woman. Just because I live like a teenager doesn't mean to say I'm not mature. But I don't care anyway what he thinks because I'm not interested in sex anyway. So anyway, I think I'm going to conclude tonight's live stream because I've been live streaming for like almost an hour and a half. But sex is not important in life unless you make it important, and it's only important if it's relevant to your life. That's what I'd say. I mean, obviously, if you're in a situation where you're thinking about having sex, going to have sex, or are having it, then it's important to understand it, know what you're doing, know your feelings, thoughts, emotion, understand the physical aspects of it, understand the safety aspects of it, understand about protecting yourself and all that type of thing. But in the general scheme of life, I think people give far too much importance to sex than they should give, and that sex should not be put on a pedestal, and it should not be taught from an early age that that's what you're meant to do. It should be taught that everyone has choices. Some people like sex and some don't, and whichever you want and don't want is absolutely fine, and it's perfect to be either, feel either, or maybe like it sometimes and not others, you know. Fiola, good night. It was lovely chatting to you. Have a good night's sleep. Oh, thank you, Fiola. Thank you, Fiola, for being here. And also, Liam, I want to thank you so much. Love you, Sandra. Sorry I missed most of the stream. Oh, it's okay, Liam. You were here in the end, and that's what matters. It's nice to see you. Happy New Year to you both, by the way. I don't think I've said Happy New Year to you, Liam, have I? So, Happy New Year. And yeah, I look forward to seeing you on the next video live stream. Thank you so much, Liam. Thank you, Fiola. And give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. It really helps me out. And I'll see you on the next video live stream. Take care. Brace your quirky and each other's. Bye, Fiola. Bye, Leo. Leo? Bye, Fiola. And bye, Liam. I mixed your names together. I put Liam with Ola and came up with Leo. In the middle, the L from Liam and the E-O in Fiola. That's funny. Anyway, lots of love, Fiola and Liam. Bye. Take care. See you again. Bye.